In the past on the channel, Alistair and I have gone over some monsters not found in the MonsterVerse, and theorized if they could work in this universe if they were ever to be greenlit to make an appearance. So that has now brought us to our next monster in this series, and this one could make one hell of an entrance into this series created by Legendary Studios. The one and only Shin Godzilla. Shin and MonsterVerse Godzilla has been a matchup discussed amongst the fans for years now. Since the two are the newest versions of a live-action Godzilla to grace the big screen in recent times, tons of people have wondered what would happen if the two Gojira were to meet. While not as bombastic and in-your-face as legendary Godzilla, Shin Godzilla has grown a cult following of fans over the last 5 years, and now stands as one of the more popular renditions of the monster to audiences all over the world. The controversial design of this Godzilla has held some fans back from looking deeper into the version of the iconic King of the Monsters, but in this video, we are going to look at Shin Godzilla in depth to see if the monster has a place in the much adored and now confirmed to be very much alive and kicking MonsterVerse. Keep in mind, Shin Godzilla will 99.9% not show up in the MonsterVerse, but that doesn't mean we can't have fun talking about it. So let's get to it. Before we see if Shin Godzilla would work in the MonsterVerse, let's do a quick recap of the monster. The origins of Shin Godzilla use a similar trope that the series loves to use, in that Shin Godzilla was created due to nuclear waste being dumped into the oceans by mankind, and coming in contact with a prehistoric superorganism never before discovered. This was intended to play a political role in calling out Japan's government after the horrible real-world tsunami had devastated power plants on the island, and how poorly this situation was handled. But something that isn't handled poorly is this video's sponsor. I know you monster fans love to eat, so let's talk about some actual food with this video's sponsor, HelloFresh. Look guys, I love to cook, I'm a bit of a foodie, but I'm also a bit of a purist when it comes to making my own food from scratch, with no one's help. That being said, the product HelloFresh delivers shocked me with its quality and most importantly its taste. Before YouTube, I worked on produce farms for years, and so when I learned that HelloFresh sources its food directly from farms here in the US of A during peak ripeness and gets to your house all within a week, they had my attention. You can taste the freshness, and so it makes sense that HelloFresh has more 5-star reviews than any other meal kit out there today. I pride myself on making good food, but I will admit that I tend to make the same stuff over and over. But with HelloFresh's 50 weekly meal options to choose from, you can explore with your taste buds and try new foods that you normally wouldn't think of. Once you start making the food, the nifty recipe sheets are not only visually pleasing, but they are super easy to follow and something I think any novice cook can actually comprehend. Follow the simple steps and in no time you have yourself a meal that tastes like something from a restaurant. My wife loved the meal so much she wouldn't stop talking about it. Once you're done with your meal, you can toss away pretty much all the packaging into your recycling bin and make Mother Earth proud. Sponsoring this video or not, I highly recommend HelloFresh, so use our link to go to HelloFresh.com and use the code POGDangerville16 for up to 16 free meals plus 3 surprise gifts across 6 HelloFresh boxes, all with free shipping too. Now let's get back to the video. Over time, the nuclear waste caused the ancient organism to evolve over and over again, until one day it became large enough to be noticed by the humans that inhabited its territory. And this is where the true monster that is Shin Godzilla first started to show its ugly little beady ass eyes. After coming on land and having a couple more massive evolutionary jumps, we had a creature that finally started to resemble Godzilla. Luckily, humanity was able to put together a super plan and stop the giant monster if only for a time. Now that you are all caught up on the quick summary for Shin Godzilla, let's talk about the monster's superpowers and features. Shin Godzilla is amphibious in nature, like all Godzilla adaptations, but this version of the monster had to painfully adapt to coming on land in a way that others before him had not had to go through. The overall nature of Shin Godzilla was very unstable. Its extreme biothermal capabilities consistently caused Shin to overheat and need to cool down in order to keep walking forward. It is presumed that these negative traits would have eventually been overcome due to Shin's ability to evolve to better suit whatever current predicament that it was in, but we can't be for sure. But that in itself is Shin Godzilla's most powerful feature, in that if not stopped, the monster would simply never stop evolving and would go on to become a god of sorts. And while evolving took time, Shin Godzilla was able to keep itself alive long enough to get to that point due to its regenerative capabilities and high level of defense. Just like classic Godzilla, human weaponry did nothing to Shin. other than a well-aimed missile strike on Shin's back, which showed the most visual pain a Godzilla has been in since, well, that one time. And if Shin's defensive capabilities were enough, it had one of the most devastating atomic blasts of all time. In a scene that can only be described as chilling, Shin Godzilla cut through an entire city with its blast and then did something no Godzilla had done before. Shot the blast out of dozens of holes in its spine and from the end of its tail, and gave us all one hell of a purple light show. The blast needed to be that overpowered though, and that is due to this being the least mobile and athletic Godzilla ever brought to life. Shin Godzilla walks around like a puppet in a slow, almost twitchy sort of way. And when it came to physical combat, outside of Shin's tail, the rest of the body appeared to be kinda useless. Those arms are about as useful as a T-Rex's, and that became evident when it took Shin Godzilla a ton of effort and time to pick itself off the ground and back on its feet. That's how it was defeated in the end, it couldn't get up quick enough. At the end of the day, Shin Godzilla was defeated by mankind. Something that not many of the King of the Monsters can say has happened to them. And the way of his defeat was anything but spectacular. Trip the monster up, shove some damn tubes down its throat, and make it drink a special made serum that would eventually go on to turn Shin to stone. Shin Godzilla just wasn't all that intelligent, likely being the dumbest of all Gojira ever created, and would run out of energy and require naps. All while still in the heat of its invasion, where the other Godzillas would at least wait till their rampage was over. And that brings us to our video's big question. Could Shin Godzilla work in the MonsterVerse? And how would it act or look in this separate universe than its own? A MonsterVerse Shin Godzilla would need to better resemble the typical Godzilla design in order to fit the growing expanse of Gojira subspecies being mentioned now in the lore of the MonsterVerse. Shin doesn't necessarily have to get any stronger or act any different, but what he does need to do to be able to stand a chance against the titans of the MonsterVerse is he would need to slim down, and his arms would have to be extended and made more useful. Physical combat is huge in the MonsterVerse, so the measly little arms and most unathletic body of all time would have to be adjusted, or else Shin may be ripped to shreds before it was even able to make an attack. The one big advantage Shin does have though is its atomic blasts that shoot out from all over its body. This is a feature that would need to be utilized a lot to keep the other pesky monsters off Shin's back. And I could even see legendary Godzilla having the classic "oh shit" face if he was to see Shin Godzilla turn into a damn atomic porcupine. Especially when it comes from Shin's tail, that feature would be a must-keep in the MonsterVerse. In closing though, Shin Godzilla is one of the largest and most unique takes on the monster ever to be seen. But I personally don't think it would ever really work in the MonsterVerse, and that's not a bad thing. Sometimes movies and characters are made to stand alone and not be thrust into some other universe for the sheer fun of it. But I'm still waiting for that epic matchup between Shin and legendary Godzilla to happen. Who do you think would win in a 1v1 fight between Shin and MonsterVerse Godzilla? Let me know in the comments below. Once again, thank you to this video sponsor, HelloFresh. Check out our description and utilize that code and get lots of free food. Stomp the subscribe button and hit the bell to stay notified when we upload. For those of you guys who've stayed to this point in the video, thank you. You get to be in a special group of people who know that next week, we hope, we are doing a massive update to the channel. New graphics, new animations, new music, new badass content. We really can't wait to show you guys this. We haven't updated the channel in 3 years, and well, it's time. As always, this has been Jacob, and I will see you in the next one.